Hey everybody, I'm Random Frank P, and with CES 2015 wrapping up today, I figured why not make a video on the top 10 things that I think were important or cool from the CES event. Now, in my personal opinion, this year's CES didn't really have much groundbreaking stuff that we've seen in the past, or nothing really that new that was announced, but there's still some pretty cool stuff. So like I said, I just wanted to do like a little roundup and do the top 10 things that I thought were pretty cool out of CES 2015. Number 10, which is one of the less serious ones on this list, was the real announcement of a new Tony Hawk Pro Skater game for the next-gen consoles. I suppose I could have put something more tech-related or gadget-wise on this one, but I put Tony Hawk in this list because growing up, I loved the Tony Hawk Pro Skater games. It really got me into gaming, and I was really bummed out towards the end of the cycle when Tony Hawk kind of stopped caring about his games and Skate took over. And I would have loved to have seen a new skateboarding game that came out with the new next-gen console. So the fact that he is trying once more to put out a whole Tony Hawk Pro Skater game, I think is really cool, and I'm really looking forward to it. Number 9, and leading right off with the skateboarding, is the announcement of the Z-Board 2. We've seen the Z-Board in the past, and with that cool electric skateboard. They made a new model, and it's a lot different, and it's really cool. So the Z-Board 2 is a big improvement over last year's original Z-Board. It looks a lot nicer. I believe it has nicer and better wheels for it. It's a lot lighter. I believe it's only 25 pounds as opposed to 33 pounds from last year. It goes up to 24 miles per hour, which is actually really fast for an electric skateboard. And this is great for people who live in inner cities who don't want to drive or take the bus or ride a bike. So having a nice new electric skateboard from Z-Board is something that I think is really cool. When they showed it off, it just looked like a big improvement over the original. I'm really pumped for this one. Number 8 isn't really anything tech related. But if you're familiar with DX Racer, they make those really professional and nice looking gaming chairs. They announced their own gaming table. And the reason I put this on there is because gaming desks, I think, are one of the most ignored thing from companies. They have gaming chairs, a bunch of gaming peripherals, all that good stuff for gaming. But gaming desks is one of the things that you don't really find too often, and it's hard to find a good desk just for gaming. So it's really cool that DX Racer decided to put out their own specific one. They have a few models. The ones they showed off were height adjustable and had a specific area that came down just for typing. It looked pretty cool what we've seen so far. Next is something called Sling TV, and this is probably one of the biggest things that came out of the event because what it is, it's a subscription-like service that offers you to stream regular TV, like live television, at Netflix and Hulu prices per month. So it's $20 per month to stream pretty much TV, the channels like ESPN, TBS, Cartoon Network, to any connected device. So you can be watching live TV on your laptop, you can have it on your TV, your phone, and it's really cool because that really does away with the whole subscription TV stuff for your cable network, whatever you pay per month for that, which is a lot more than $20 per month. So this could be really big. Will Sling put an end to cable as we know it? Who knows? Number 6 is something from Razer, and that is their Forge TV. It's essentially a little streaming box. We've seen them in the past before, but this allows you to play Android games on the streaming box, as well as streaming games from your gaming PC. So Razer, being known for primarily like PC gaming items and stuff like that, they finally launched their own Android TV device. It's called the Forge TV, and it's headed our way for $100, and they actually won a lot of awards for this. So what it is, it's this this top box little streaming service. We've seen it in the past. This little device, there's the Amazon TV, the Apple TV, the Google Nexus player, but their Forge TV, what it is, it has an 805 GPU inside. It's the Snapdragon 805 GPU, 16 gigabytes of onboard storage, 2 gigabytes of RAM, has Wi-Fi and gigabyte Ethernet capabilities, and you could stream a bunch of the stuff from the Android store, TV, movies, music, any games, stuff like that, as well as streaming directly from your PC gaming setup. And that's pretty cool because if you have, your powerful PC upstairs in your room and you don't want to play it, you want to play it downstairs in the living room on your nice big TV, you can stream it directly to there. Coming in at number 5 is something that we've seen last year, but it's a newer rendition, an update, and that is the LG G Flex 2, a nice curved smartphone from LG. This is one of the few phones that was shown off at the event, mainly because phone events are so big now that they have their own, big conferences and stuff like that. But the G Flex 2 It's a big improvement over last year's original G Flex. It has a 5.5-inch display, which looks really nice. The resolution now gets a bump from last year's 720p to 1080p now, with a pixel density of 403 pixels per inch. A nice 13 megapixel camera, and just an overall a nice improvement, and really making a statement in the curved display world for mobile devices. Winding down now, number 4 is the Oculus Rift. Now, we've seen this in the past, so it's not anything new, this cool virtual reality set, but it's a newer rendition of it. It's the Oculus Rift Crescent Bay, which is a big improvement over their Dev Kit 2, which was, I believe, the Crystal Cove. Like I said, yes, we have seen the Oculus Rift in the past. It's making a lot of headlines this past year, but it's breaking out of their Crystal Cove and going into their Crescent Bay release now. It's a lot of improvements. They're stepping up the display from 1080p to 1440p, so you're not going to have that screen effect everyone was complaining about with seeing the pixels that close to your face. They've also included their own little speakers, like their own little headset on, which was pretty interesting because I figured most people are going to be using their own headset or their own headphones. Going into that as well, they also have included full head motion tracking. They've included these little things on the front of the headset itself, which will be tracked by the little camera, as well as in the back of the headset, in the back of your head. So you can now track the head when you're fully you're spinning around and all that good stuff, which is another big improvement because it didn't have that in the past. So now it can fully track you, and it's also a lot lighter, so it's not going to be weighing your head down or putting a lot of pressure on your head. Number 3, something I think is really cool and that could really curve the way for wireless technology in the future. That's from a company called What Up. But it's essentially a wireless charger. And this is actually very different from any wireless charging stuff you've seen in the past. Not like with the Android phones with the wireless charging or those wireless charging battery kits you can put onto your phone. This is actually an entire device that can charge your phone wirelessly from about 15 feet away. What they showed off was this two-tone rectangular box that was mounted to a wall, which is the What Up transmitter, and that transmits the wireless power to your specific devices. It acts as a router, and inside that router, it's kind of like a Bluetooth module. It kind of finds where the compatible devices are and helps establish a connection to them. And once they're connected, the power is beamed out over frequencies in the 5.7 to 5.8 gigahertz range. So this is something I think is really cool, and I think with this kind of technology, we can start moving towards wireless charging, wireless power in the future. So just imagine if they kind of implemented this, the whole next step into, say, like an Xbox. Imagine having a wireless Xbox, no power brick needed, no power cables, anything like that. I think this device is going to really start to pave the way for future things like that with the whole wireless power genre of things. Number 2 is going to be more of a genre, and that's the genre of wearables. And wearables, I think, is really the one thing that took over CES 2015, and wearables are going to be, I think, the number 1 tech gadget of this year. Wearables, yes, almost every company, even like random startup ones, small companies, release their own version of a new, small little tech wearable, ranging from more like smartwatches to a lot of activity trackers now. A lot of companies are doing activity trackers that, count your steps, your calories, how well you slept, all that kind of activity stuff we've seen in the past, from companies like Fitbit, Jawbone. They're all putting out new wearables that's going to take 2015 by storm. Tons of companies putting these out, and I was kind of bummed that the Moto 362 wasn't announced. That was one of the best wearables of 2014, that very nice looking smartwatch. I really wanted to see a newer updated model, but that unfortunately wasn't announced. So I just wanted to put wearables at number 2 because there were just so many of them, I couldn't even begin to list them all. There were too many, and wearables are going to be the biggest craze of 2015. And rounding out number 1, which is something I think I've seen a ton of coverage of, probably the most coverage and the most from a wide variety of companies, is curved displays and OLED displays on TVs. Yes, of course, TVs. TVs are always one of the biggest things at CES, and we saw companies like Sony, Samsung, and even Sharp just release a whole new line of crazy cool TVs. We have 4K, that was the big thing now. Some companies are even starting to put out and show off their own 8K TVs. While I'm not too big on 4K and even 8K, another big thing that they're showing off with these TVs is, the curved displays at 4K. And even what I thought was something awesome is the new upcoming craze of OLED displays. I think OLED displays are going to be, the thing of the future. It's going to be a standard. It's going to be a huge upgrade over LED or LCD display. OLED, everybody. Mark my words, OLED's going to be the big thing for TVs now. And everything that they showed off was just so nice, thin, and sleek looking. So TVs, I think, are number one because, honestly, TVs are one of the biggest tech things you can have in your house. So why not cap off a great event by showing off, better curved 4K, 8K, very thin OLED displays that I thought just were the best thing at the event. Alright everybody, that's my little wrap up of CES 2015, my top 10 things that I thought were important or cool that I took away from the events. Again, there's a bunch of other stuff that was announced, just tons and tons of things that didn't include on this list. This is just personal opinions of mine that I thought were noteworthy to bring to you guys. So if you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any, suggestions, things you thought were cool, drop it in the comment down below. You can tell me all the stuff that you thought was cool and stuff down there, and I'll definitely check it out. Or hit me up on Twitter at RandomFrankP. If you have any questions, stuff like that, you can follow me on there, just for general channel updates and stuff like that. Twitter at RandomFrankP. If you haven't already, please hit subscribe. I've done a ton of tech videos in the past, tech reviews, gaming, stuff like that. So if this is your kind of genre and you like what I'm doing with this channel, definitely hit subscribe. I'll do my best for you. Alright everybody, like I said, I'm RandomFrankP. Have a good day.